Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to explore a body of work that's really had a profound influence on ideas about achievement, about the power of the mind. We're digging into the core principles from Napoleon Hill's classic, Think and Grow Rich.
That's right. And our source material for this, it's excerpts that detail these key principles. So our mission really is to unpack what Hill is putting forward. How does he suggest you can transform thought into actual tangible results?
And pull out those key insights for you.
Exactly. What can you grasp from these ideas?
So get ready. We're going to journey through concepts like desire, faith, persistence, and yeah, that maybe surprising idea Hill starts with.
Oh, yeah.
That thoughts themselves aren't just fleeting moments. He sees them as, well, powerful forces.
He really does. Hill opens with this bold statement. Thoughts are things. They have actual power, and he argues they shape your reality. He doesn't see them as passive at all.
No, they're active forces in his view.
Yeah,
It's a really powerful starting point. He uses that analogy, right? The mind is a magnet, attracting what you focus on.
mm-hmm.
So from his perspective, changing your thinking isn't just about, feeling a bit better. It's presented as a fundamental mechanic for actually changing your life,
Yeah.
what you experience.
And that really is the bedrock of his whole philosophy. Success, according to Hill, it starts with clear, focused thoughts. But like you said, those thoughts need energy. They need fuel.
Right.
They need desire. They need faith. And importantly, they need persistent action behind them.
He also talks right at the beginning about definiteness of purpose.
Mm.
Why is having that clear goal so crucial from his point of view?
Well, think about it like a ship. Without a clear destination, a rudder guiding it, a ship just drifts aimlessly.
Okay.
Hill suggests it's the same for us. Without a clear, specific goal, that definite purpose, our mental energy just doesn't have direction. So defining exactly what you want, that's the necessary first step to harness the power of your thoughts.
Okay, that brings us right to the first principle then. Desire. And Hill doesn't mean just a casual wish here, does he?
Not at all. He describes it as the essential starting point. It's this intense, burning feeling aimed at a very specific, clearly defined goal. It almost sounds, obsessive.
It does. And the source gives us a very specific process, almost like a ritual. These 6 steps Hill outlines for turning that intense desire into actual results.
Yeah, it's quite structured. It's not just about having the desire, it's about acting on it in this very specific way.
Okay, walk us through those steps from Hill's work.
All right. First, decide exactly what you want. Be really specific. Is it an amount of money, a certain job, a tangible thing? Quantify it if you can.
Right, not just, I want to be rich, but I want X dollars by Y date.
Precisely. Second step, determine exactly what you intend to give in return. Hill really stresses this. There's no something for nothing.
What's the trade-off? What effort or sacrifice are you willing to commit?
Exactly that. Third, you establish a definite date. When do you intend to actually possess what you desire? Give it a deadline.
A hard target date. Got it.
Yes. Fourth, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire. And this is key. Begin at once. Start putting that plan into action, whether you feel totally ready or not.
So planning and immediate action, even if the plan isn't perfect yet.
Absolutely. Don't wait for perfect. Fifth, write it all down. A clear, concise statement covering steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's your goal, what you'll give, your date, and your plan.
Putting it on paper makes it feel more real, more concrete.
Yes, tangible. And the sixth step, Hill, really emphasizes this one. Read your written statement aloud, twice a day. Once just before bed and once right after you get up.
Okay.
And as you read it, you need to see and feel yourself already having achieved it, already in possession of the money or whatever your goal is. Hill stresses this burning desire must be backed by faith and action.
Which flows perfectly into principle number 2, faith. Hill argues faith is absolutely essential. It's needed to turn that desire into reality. He calls it a state of mind you can actually develop.
And how does he suggest you develop it? Well, the source points to auto-suggestion. Basically, repeating affirmations, focusing on positive thoughts, visualizing that desired outcome over and over.
Right.
Hill says this combination, faith and desire, fueled by real emotion, that's what lets you influence and unlock the power of your subconscious mind.
Ah, the subconscious. So that's where autosuggestion comes in as principle number 3.
Yes. Autosuggestion is the technique itself. It's described as the process of influencing your subconscious through that repetition. affirmations, visualizations. You're essentially planting these positive thought seeds.
And watering them constantly.
Exactly. And that repetition is crucial for overriding old limiting beliefs, self-doubt, and strengthening the belief in your definite purpose.
So you're training the subconscious.
That's the core mechanism Hill describes. He teaches that the subconscious can be well-directed. By consistently feeding it this positive belief that your desire is already a reality, or soon will be, it starts to influence your actions, your behavior, so they naturally align with achieving that goal, like programming your internal GPS, really.
Okay, moving outward a bit now. Principle 4 talks about specialized knowledge. Hill makes an important distinction here. General knowledge is fine, but he says it's specialized knowledge, stuff directly applicable to your goals, that's the real force behind big success.
Yeah, it's not just about collecting facts, is it? Knowledge isn't power on its own. It's applied knowledge that's power.
So where does this specialized knowledge come from, according to Hill?
Well, formal education, sure, but also personal experience and, crucially, seeking out and associating with experts, people who know the field related to your goal.
And the source really highlights personal initiative here. You have to actively go find that knowledge and, most importantly, use it, put it into action.
Absolutely. Knowledge is most powerful when you act on it, which takes us neatly to Principle 5, imagination. Hill calls this the workshop of the mind.
The workshop of the mind. I like that.
It's critical for creating those mental images of things that don't exist yet, visualizing the end result of your desire and your plan.
And he talks about two types, doesn't he? Creative and synthetic.
That's right. Creative imagination is for generating totally new ideas. Synthetic imagination is more about combining existing ideas or concepts in new ways.
Okay.
Hill believed, fundamentally, that everything humans have ever created started as an idea. And imagination is the tool that lets us conceive that idea, then refine it, shape it into something real. So visualization, mentally rehearsing success, it isn't just daydreaming in his view.
No, it's programming the subconscious.
Exactly, and guiding your actions towards your desires.
So you've built this inner world, desire, faith, programming through imagination. Principle 6 says now you need organized planning. You've got to translate that inner power into outward action with a solid plan.
Absolutely critical. Desire and faith are potent, yes, but Hill insists they have to be channeled, put into action through a well-organized plan. Success, he says, needs that definite, focused blueprint.
And failure often comes from, what? Poor planning.
Yeah, the source points that out. Inadequate planning, or just not sticking with the planning process. Lack of persistence in planning.
And his advice here is so important. Persist in your planning, but also be willing to adapt. Rework plans if they fail initially.
Yes, don't give up on the goal. That's the message. If a plan fails, don't scrap the goal, scrap the plan, adjust it, try again.
That constant refinement, right.
Yeah.
Principle 7 is decision, mastering procrastination. Hill makes a really sharp distinction here.
He does. He observed that successful people tend to make decisions quickly, and then they change them slowly, if they change them at all. Whereas people who fail often hesitate. They procrastinate.
So indecision is like a major roadblock in his philosophy.
It's presented as a huge obstacle, yeah. Decisive, confident people are seen as much more likely to succeed because their actions are clear. They're aligned with their goals.
So his advice?
Make decisions quickly. Stick to them once made. Avoid getting stuck in endless loops of overthinking or second-guessing. Indecision, he warns, just leads to stagnation. You miss opportunities.
Principle 8 builds right on this action focus. Persistence. Hill considers this one absolutely vital.
Oh, hugely vital. Persistence is that sustained effort. You need it to keep going, especially when you hit adversity, setbacks, criticism. It's the key to overcoming obstacles and staying on course towards that definite purpose.
And he sees it as flowing from the other principles.
Yeah, he sees it as a result of having strong desire, unwavering faith, self-discipline, and that decisiveness we just talked about.
And importantly, the source material emphasizes that persistence is developed through habit. It's something you practice.
Exactly. Hill suggests that successful people make persistence a daily habit. It's not just something you turn on when things get tough.
Okay, now Principle 9 introduces a concept Hill felt was incredibly powerful. The power of the mastermind.
Yes, this is a really central idea for him. It's about the coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people working towards a definite purpose and, importantly, in a spirit of harmony.
So it's a group, but it's more than just networking. What makes it so powerful, according to Hill?
Hill believed a true mastermind group creates this potent energy source. It's not just pooling resources, it's about synergy. He suggests that when minds come together in harmony, a kind of third mind, a collective intelligence emerges.
Greater than the sum of its parts.
Exactly. That collective wisdom, that synergy, that's what leads to breakthroughs and greater success in his view. So he strongly advises forming these groups for support, accountability, bouncing ideas around.
And leveraging that amplified network of knowledge and resources.
Precisely.
All right, Principle 10 is one of the more, let's say, intriguing concepts. The mystery of sex transmutation. What's Hill getting at here?
Well, Hill explores the idea of redirecting energy, specifically the very strong emotional energy associated with the sex drive. He suggests channeling it away from purely physical expression and towards creative and productive pursuits.
So using that powerful emotion for goals.
Yeah. He argues that this energy, being one of the most powerful human emotions, when it's transmuted, channeled towards your goals, it can provide immense focus, drive, creativity, and persistence. It's about taking that intense internal energy and focusing it like a laser on your definite purpose.
So channeling intense emotional energy into focus and productivity, using a very powerful natural force, but through his specific lens.
Exactly, viewed through that specific Hill lens. Principle 11 then circles back to the subconscious mind, really reinforcing its pivotal role. We touched on it with faith and autosuggestion,
Right.
but here it's emphasized as the connecting link.
A link between what exactly?
Hill describes it as the link between your conscious mind and what the source calls a form of universal consciousness or infinite intelligence. The core idea is that your subconscious is always working, and by consistently filling it with positive thoughts, beliefs, your clearly defined desires, you are, in his view, aligning yourself with forces that help bring about success.
And it responds strongly to repetition and emotion. So the focus is being deliberate, positive affirmations, visualizing goals as achieved to basically program it.
Program it towards your desired reality.
Yeah.
Then, Principle 12 expands on the mind's capabilities with the brain. Hill describes it metaphorically as a broadcasting and receiving station for thought.
A broadcasting station, that's interesting.
Yeah, Hill suggests thoughts are a form of energy, and the brain can both transmit this energy and receive it from elsewhere.
So what does that imply?
Well, from this perspective, maintaining a positive mental attitude, focusing intensely on your goals, it creates a kind of vibration. And this vibration can attract opportunities, maybe connect you with like-minded people or ideas. It's sometimes described in relation to things like the law of attraction within his framework.
That's a fascinating concept, that your thoughts might be actively influencing the world beyond just your direct actions.
It adds another layer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Principle 13 is the sixth sense, which Hill connects to intuition. Those flashes of insight, hunches, guidance that seem to come from beyond normal reasoning.
And how does someone develop this sixth sense, according to Hill?
The source suggests it develops over time by practicing the other principles consistently, being open to new ideas, learning to trust those gut feelings,
Okay.
and engaging in practices like contemplation, maybe even prayer, as Hill mentions. It's presented as a faculty that grows as you master the other principles and become more well-aware.
And the advice is to actually trust this intuition, especially for big decisions.
Precisely. Trust it. Finally, Principle 14 tackles perhaps the biggest barrier: overcoming fear. Hill identifies 6 primary fears. He calls them the 6 ghosts of fear that haunt people and hold them back.
The 6 ghosts, what are they?
He lists them as fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. Hill argues that fear, in these various forms, is the main obstacle blocking people from success and personal growth.
And the path through these fears, how do you overcome them?
He suggests the way to break through these barriers to achieve lasting success is by actively replacing that fear with its opposite, with faith, backed up by that strong desire and unwavering persistence.
So bringing it all together,
Yeah.
these principles from desire and faith through planning, persistence, leveraging collective energy with the mastermind, channeling personal drive, programming the subconscious, and finally overcoming fear. It provides a pretty systematic approach.
A roadmap, like you said earlier, a roadmap for actively turning your thoughts into your reality. And Hill's powerful conclusion, drawn from the source material, is that success isn't just about waiting for opportunity to knock. It's fundamentally about creating opportunity.
Through deliberately applying these principles.
Yes, and taking consistent action.
So as you absorb this collection of ideas from Hill's work, what does this deep dive suggest for you? How might you approach your own goals and aspirations differently?
We've taken a real deep dive into these core principles from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. We journeyed from that initial spark of desire, the power of belief, through the practical steps like planning and persistence.
Explore the potential of collected minds, internal energy.
Right, understanding the role of the subconscious, the brain, as Hill saw it, and confronting those fears that can hold us back.
As you reflect on these powerful ideas and the potential impact of your own thinking, here's something to consider. It stems directly from the source material we explored today. Hill suggests that the brain functions as a broadcasting and receiving station for thought, and that thoughts themselves are a form of energy. What might that imply about the very nature of your thoughts? How might they interact with the world around you, perhaps even beyond your immediate actions or plans?
It definitely leaves you wondering about the subtle forces potentially at play.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
We hope it gives you plenty to think about.